All right, next question up comes from Chess on Fleek, who says, do you think any major projects like EPCOT's overhaul or the Avengers Campus at Disneyland are going to be delayed or stopped because of coronavirus? Now, before we dive into that, I do want to mention that it appears that crews in an essential capacity have returned to Disneyland this week to begin work once again on the Toontown Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway attraction, and then also Avengers Campus. So it already looks like there's some progress there, and I know that Avengers Campus was already slated for an opening coming into this summer, and now that has been a to-be-determined slot, at least online officially by Disney. So let's start with you, Katrina. Do you think that any sort of projects are going to be delayed or maybe off the table? Because right now the company's hurting for cash. Right now the company is in a really bad financial limbo, and if there were projects coming, there's likely a chance that, hey, the carpet's going to get pulled out from under these things.
Yeah, I mean, I think Avengers Campus, like you said, they sent people back to start working on it, but I think that is even going to be delayed. Hopefully, the main important thing I'm hoping that they really push is the entrance to EPCOT, because that is ugly and it needs to be fixed like ASAP, so they cannot shelve that. And like the thing that I think is going to be shelved is the Mary Poppins attraction.
Sure.
It's going to go where the lost things go. Because I see what I did there. Anyway, so
that's why she took that pause.
I just think that was like I was hoping for it. I really wanted to see it happen, but I don't think it's going to happen in the time length that they said that they were going to try to start breaking ground and get that stuff done. That one's going to go goodbye. The Ratatouille ride, that's like ready to go. So like, you know, the things I think that are like feasible they're going to do first, and then things that they have to break ground on and stuff they're probably going to like push off to the side.
Tyler, you think we're going to lose any attractions? Do you think we're going to lose any experiences that were originally announced that haven't broken ground yet, rather?
I mean, possibly the Mary Poppins attraction, like Katrina was saying. I mean, things that if they've announced, I think for the most part, the things that they've announced, they're going to make good on, because they kind of know they have to. And like, especially in Florida, you know, Universal is busy building I'll be generous, their 4th theme park. And you know, if they're going to keep on building at Universal, Disney's going to just kind of have to keep building too. There's kind of no two ways about it.
But it's delayed though by a year.
It's delayed, exactly. But you know, the question is will these things be canceled?
Yeah.
And
they better not cancel that like 3-tier middle part in EPCOT that they're trying to do, and they got rid of the fountain.
It's things
I would be so mad.
It's things like that I think might be shelved, but again, that's supposed to be like a festival center, and the festivals make them so much money. So
what about Moana?
I mean, Moana seems like I don't know exactly.
It was delayed already by a year.
I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but it sounds like it's not going to be millions and billions of dollars. It sounds like it's going to be like kind of a playground area, which again, they don't want to open. I'm sure they don't want to open playgrounds and stuff right now. So is that going to be a bad idea to have a water play area in this time? I don't know. It's a tough question. I think if they've announced the things, they're going to keep on building them. Maybe things will be scaled back a little bit, unfortunately. But if they have a major plan for something, TRON is already pretty much set in stone. I mean, I'm curious how Guardians of the Galaxy is, because, you know, I'm pretty sure they still haven't done filming for that attraction yet. And I'm wondering if they're going to have to cut some of that back. But I know the track is already being built. So it's not like something that they can it would cost more money to change those things at this point. You know, it's a good question. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's on our viewers' minds, definitely. And Garrett, before we go to you, something that I want to touch on here is that back in the 2008 market crash, right before everything sort of, hit the roof, there was a an announcement that Cars Land was coming to Disney California Adventure. You might recall this time where things were good, right? Right before the market crash in '08, things were great economically, and then all of a sudden market crash happened, but they just announced that Cars Land was coming, as was, World of Color and all these huge changes to California Adventure Park at that time. Well, one of the things that had occurred was, the check had been cut, the check had been spent, and so some of these projects that are, years in the making or have been announced already may be in that category of the check was cut and therefore spent. So we don't necessarily know what the money has been spent on yet. And I think that's part of the hassle here, is not necessarily knowing what got the funding and what didn't. But for anything, much to Tyler and Katrina's point, that hasn't been built yet, that worries me too. I mean, there's such an ability to, pull the rug out from under a project at this point and say, we just can't afford it right now. So are you in fear of losing anything or maybe seeing things delayed, Garrett?
I believe that things are going to be more than likely delayed, not canceled. Like you said, the check's already been cut. They're not going to just stop construction on TRON and not do anything with it, because the track is all laid in there. All they have to do is add some of the special effects, and that baby's done. However, I do believe the Walt Disney World Railroad will never be completed and will never run again. But no, plans like the Mary Poppins attraction, which is very ambiguous and sort of unknown as to what it's going to be, that will definitely get pushed back, and perhaps people will forget about it because they'll be focusing on all this other stuff. But Guardians of the Galaxy, that's going to continue on. That's going to be streamlined. I believe most of the construction at Epcot will keep going further ahead just because that money's been spent. They've already removed parts of buildings. You can't leave it like that because then it's an eyesore. So the projects that are currently being worked on and being built, those will be done, such as the refurbishments for certain rides that continues on. But yeah, the only real projects that we see that haven't really had anything is that Mary Poppins attraction, and that's really about it. That we haven't really heard any other like unknown projects that haven't already broken ground. So things that are already being built, they will continue on and be finished. But yeah, I was never really excited for the Mary Poppins attraction to begin with, just because it's very ambiguous. Like if you give me more specifics about it, I'll get more excited about it. But right now, it's just, I could see it just being like a walkthrough of Cherry Tree Lane, and that's all there is. And
I guess it was just an idea being floated. It wasn't necessarily anything concrete yet. So you're absolutely right. And I think it'll be really fascinating when the parks do reopen, just how much changes at the Epcot Experience Preview Center for what's coming, like how many different sections of the video as to what's coming is like cut out and just quietly put into shadows. I think that'll be fascinating too. So a lot to consider there when it comes to things that might be delayed or otherwise tabled entirely.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.